Okay.
So what I'll do is I'll get started here, and I'll just kind of flow through how the system works. And as we come to something and you have a question, go ahead and ask me the question. And if it's something I need to back up and go over, or if it's something we're going to come to, I'll just write it down and we'll cover it when we hit it.
Okay.
All right. So we'll start in dispatch. When you dispatch a load to yourself, kind of a unique situation. It's kind of fun.
All right.
What it does is the software manages the freight and then the movement with two separate numbers. And the reason this is handy, let's say, for instance, you're picking up a load and bringing it to the yard, and then dispatching a separate truck to pick that trailer up and move it on. So a hook and drop, basically. The system will manage the hooks and drops as two individual trucks, but the freight still stays the same. And so we won't lose freight or lose track of where it's been or where it is throughout the whole process. So we do track the freight and the movement of freight separately.
Okay.
The freight is assigned a number in our software called the manifest number. The manifest is basically the detailed information on the freight, the rating, and all the forms and everything that you receive from the customer. And so to create a manifest, it's just a matter of opening the manifest screen and right-clicking and selecting New. And then we would put in the customer's contact information. And this is something that with an EDI transaction between Northstar's system and your software would automatically be generated. But just for demonstration reasons, I'll just select a customer and we'll load that information manually so you see how it's done.
Okay.
So I'm going to put in a customer Simplot. As I type Sim, it automatically found the closest match to that, which is J.R. Simplot. This is the guy that coined the russet potato here in Idaho.
Oh, okay.
He's pretty famous.
Yeah.
So we'll dispatch a load for J.R. Simplot, and we can add the bill of lading at this point. There's different load priorities or categories which are sensitive to your company if you want to put those details on there. And then to put the pick location, we have his credit check turned on. So what this does is goes and looks at the credit history of this customer. Where you're only dispatching yourself, you're probably good for your own money, right?
All right. You'd think.
So you may want us to turn off the credit check feature. But what this does is gives us a history of the customer, how you'll see here that they pay their bill on an average of 26 days. And then the credit limit is $1.5 million, and it shows everything that's outstanding and everything that's available to be billed.
Okay.
So it's just kind of a handy feature if you have a lot of customers to be able to keep track of if everybody's paying you before you take another load.
Yeah, and that's how our system currently works too. It'll let you know. Yeah. Well, it'll pop up if there's a problem.
Yeah, this is a feature that can be turned on and off.
Okay.
So I'll just mark OK, and then we'll put in the pick information and then the drop information. So to enter a pick is just to right-click, select New, and you put in the pick information. I'm just going to put in Simplot. So this will actually go and pull all of Simplot's locations that are pickup locations in our system. And so as you enter your customer's information and their locations, you can specify whether it's a pickup, a receivable, or receiving. You can specify what type of location it is, and it'll appear in the proper location.
Okay.
So I'll select Simplot's Caldwell, Idaho site. It automatically populates the information. I just enter the date of pickup. I missed that. Clicked on the other side. So we got the date, and then we can then select the appointment time. Now you can put
Okay.
Then you can enter a pickup number if that's necessary, and then you would then put in the weight, the cases, cubes, pallets, and then the commodities and product types and trailer types. These are sensitive to your company as well. It's the type of trailers and the products and commodities that you move. For the demonstration, I'm just going to put in freight of all kinds, and then put in a specific product type, and then the type of trailer. And so you'll notice that it has all the different variables that you may have. If the load requires a specific trailer, you can put that trailer on there. You run reefers, dries?
No, we do mostly over-dimensional. So a lot of step decks, extendables, stuff like that.
Perfect, where the money is.
Yeah, exactly.
No, one of the gentlemen that worked here, he used to own a couple trucking companies. Our trainer, Dale, you'll get a chance to meet him if you buy our system. He'll be the guy that trains you. He keeps saying that if he ever retires, he's going to go start an over-dimensional company because that's where the money is.
Yeah, that's where the headaches are
Get past
too.
all the special permitting and
Yeah.
cash, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of headaches come with it too, but
Yeah.
works both ways.
Permitting, the pilot cars, yeah, it can be a pain, but mile for mile, you make good money. So once we put those details in, you can also add any comments for the dispatch. And what this does is the information that you put in here, this is what will be delivered to the driver. And so when you print it off or if you email the dispatch, or you can even text message the dispatch out to the driver, these comments and details that you're entering will be passed on to them. Again, if there's special directions for that location.
Okay, so are you saying that you can text? Are you saying you can text message the drivers from the system?
You can, yes.
Okay.
The cool thing about what you do is there are a lot of special instructions for load, or there's special permits needed. The cool thing is you can, at this time, for special instructions for the driver, you can have those included here. If there's special directions, you can include them. And then any special notes, it's easy to add. So you can put as much information or as little information into this as you'd like. There's a place for everything. The other benefit is, I'll just save and exit that so it shows the pickup. If you have multiple picks, you can create as many as you need and save with the drops. You'll notice here on the attachments, on every one of our records on manifest or trip, which is the movement when we assign it to a truck, there's this attachments tab. If you have any form, be it permit information, information from customers, any carrier information, if there's any outside carriers involved, anything, any form that you have can be scanned in and attached here. And it's literally, to attach something, it's just clicking on the file and dropping it in the attachment.
Okay.
The benefit is it'll stay with the load for the entire history of your company. So if for instance, somebody contacts you and says, hey, you remember that load we ran? So you can create these filters or queries to create the menus that you want to see as well. Or you can do it on a a dispatcher, by dispatcher basis. Let's say you have certain dispatchers handling certain trucks. You can have those trucks only available to a specific person, and so they'll have their own query with their trucks on it. And so they would just open up their query, and they would only see their trucks or their freight.
Okay.
So this is very flexible or very general. It's purely up to you. The possibilities are there. And as well as the color changing, let's say you want to have the loads changed to a pastel blue when they're due to be moved that day. And then if it's something that's the day before, you can have it turn red. And then if it's anything that's off in the far distant future, you can leave it just green.
Okay.
You can even change the colors of the word, the background of the column, as detailed or as vague as you want to be.
Okay, so Is this system you're showing me, is this the web-based system or the server system? Both. Okay, so it works the same basically. Just you gain or lose a few features depending on what you want to use.
It's a customizable features like tracking systems. We are now offering EDI on our web base. We haven't in the past, but we just released the EDI capability for the web base. So as far as any restrictions that you would see between the web base compared to the full system would probably be our user limit. We encourage people to not go over 5 users on our web-based system. The reason is after 5 users, you start to lose money. It's not that we won't let you. We just encourage you not to.
Okay.
Because in 5 years from now, I don't want you to look at your books and say, well, if they'd have just sold me the full system, I would have been breaking even right now.
Right.
Yeah, we want to make sure you're happy with us for the rest of with your history of being in the trucking industry. So, back to the demonstration here. We've entered load. Now let's track the movement of load. When we create a load, or when we assign a truck, I just went into our trip screen, and the trip number is how we track the movement of freight. I'm going to assign a truck to that load, and the truck I'm going to assign is 2020. Well, that would be, sorry, truck number 2020. There we go. And it goes, it's a Peterbilt, and it lets me know that truck 2020 is Peter Rabbit, and Peter Rabbit's an owner-operator that works for me, and he has a expired license, a medical card, first aid certificate's not on file. I don't have his hazmat. So we can actually keep track of any type of special training, certifications, licensing that you require your owner operation to have. We keep that information on file, and when it's due to be renewed, it'll alert the dispatcher that that driver needs to update their paperwork.
Okay.
And that at this point, we can literally restrict the dispatcher from taking or assigning this load to Peter Rabbit, or for demonstration reasons, we'll just do a quick bypass. This also tells me that Peter Rabbit drives for Looney Line. Is the name of his company, and his cargo insurance policy and his liability insurance has expired.
Okay.
So we're able to keep track of their insurances as well. All right. So at this point, we have Peter Rabbit put in there as our driver. Now I'm just going to dispatch him to a load. At the bottom of the screen, you'll notice the available manifest. So this is available freight due to be moved. And to dispatch him to that load is just a matter of clicking on the load. Well, it just let me know that his truck is due for maintenance as well. So we can track the preventative maintenance by mileage or date. So you'll notice he has some full services, full washes. I've got everything turned on right now, so.
Right.
It's alerting me about everything. So if we can keep track of all the preventative maintenance due on truck 2020. Now to dispatch this load, you click on the load, drag it up to the trip stop field, and drop it. It then calculates all the deadhead miles and creates the load in the system. So you'll now see his load here from Garrison Block Caldwell to.
Can you hang on 1 second, bud?
So you'll notice once I just clicked and dropped the trip. It created all the information. All the legs are there. It breaks down the mileage on the leg. If you're building a rating, the cool thing is you don't have to rate owner-operator loads. You just establish how you pay the owner-operator. And if you're paying them on a percentage or by the mile, that is automatically attached to that load. And when you go to the settlement side, it'll automatically calculate that for you, what the driver's being paid. And so it also has a route having the icons usually appear where your pick and drop locations are, but we've had to change our icon size because Google said it was too large, and so that's why they haven't appeared here. We're waiting for the new icons to be approved and implemented. But you'll be able to click on the pick location, and it'll appear here on the left. And so a dispatcher can actually help walk a driver into a location. Say, well, it looks like there's a gate on the north side of the yard.
Okay, yeah.
So if that's something that you'd like to do, you can actually see our office building here. This is TruckMaster's office. And I'm back here in this building right here.
Nice.
So this is just a handy feature that we added. It's under the history and maps.
Okay.
And so here's all your general information to dispatch that to the driver. Like I said, we can send it to tracking systems. We can send it EDI. We do have web page capability, or we can just email it to their smartphone or text message it to their dumb phone.
Okay.
And so it's very easy to dispatch a trip once that information's put in, that we just save and exit, and it creates that trip. So it's shown here on the available trip screen. Now, once we've dispatched a driver, to keep track of that driver, update status, we created what's called the dispatcher screen or dispatch dialog screen. So we can open the dispatch dialog screen, and it'll show, if I can quit clicking on the outside of it, closing the window, it shows everything that the truck is working on and even available freight he could be working on. So, for instance, as a dispatcher, if that driver does a call-in, I can then just select the now. It'll update the time period. I can put in his location. I'm just going to put that this one's in Caldwell. That's a customer location. I want an address. So let me delete this. And it's away for something. If I can find the right field. I thought I clicked on city. So we'll just put them in Caldwell, Idaho. And then we'll commit. Actually, we'll update the status. We'll put that he's been sent and commit. So you'll notice that it's easy to do check calls.
Yeah.
Track of where they're at and what they're doing. We can even handle picks and drops easy this way. Do you guys do a lot of picks and drops?
Not with, well, I mean, within what we're doing now, yeah, but with the trucking company, no, not really.
Okay.
But who knows what's going to happen, in 6 months or a year,
Well, one of the great benefits is if you're just unhooking a load, once you unhook that load, it'll actually show on the available manifest screen that it needs to be dispatched, and it'll show where it's located.
Okay.
Manifest itself doesn't get altered, but it shows that it's there, where it'll show its origination and where it's sitting now and where it needs to go. And so nothing can get forgotten or lost. It doesn't go to any different screen. It just goes back to the available manifest screen as freight that's due to be moved.
Okay.
So it's an incredibly easy feature, and this was actually designed by dispatchers to match exactly how the easiest way to do business. And so if we want to assign more freight to this load, let's say, for instance, this is only half a load, and I would like to put this load with it, I could just hit the Add To button and select which load I'm adding to. In case he has 5 or 6 loads that I have on his current screen, I can just say which load I'm adding to, and then I can just select and drop this and attach it to that load. And so it would show that he's doing multiple pickups, and he'll have 2 different manifests on his truck. And so as a dispatcher, this is really nice. The other benefit is if the customer calls in and says, hey, I've got some freight, or if automatically appear in this menu. So this is called the dispatch dialog screen, and dispatchers absolutely love it because they can do check calls, and they can add loads, and just keep track of each truck. And to change trucks, all it is a matter of coming up here and going to the trip screen and seeing what trips are being done, or just changing truck numbers, and it'll tell you what that truck is doing.
Okay.
So incredibly easy to manage from this screen. This is the dispatcher's dashboard.
Right.
So when a load is completed, if we come in and mark this load as done, it will automatically send the manifest to the billing menu, as well as it'll send the trip information, the driver information, to the settlements menu to get him paid. So we'll go to the billing menu first. This will show all billable invoices or all freight that's been delivered. Down here at the bottom, you can see all the freight that we've had delivered. And again, you can put these together alphabetically just by clicking on the customer icon. It'll do it alphabetically, top to bottom. Click it again, it does bottom to top. And again, it goes back to the default on when they were completed. So if we want to do all of C.H. Robinson's loads, we can just click them and bring them up. I'll just do one for demonstration reasons. I'll just bring it up and drop it on the invoice. And it opens it up. I can double check the rating information. So there's what the total is. If they've made any payments, if there have been any advancements on the load, any contacts made, whether it's a phone call or an email, you can put any of those comments there. Attachments, bill of lading, permit, all that information that you put in from the manifest or during the trip will all appear here. One of the other benefits is you can select them to be sent with the invoice if you would like. And so when I bill the customer, which you'll be billing yourself, you can send that bill of lading to the Landstar software just by selecting it. Now to bill it, you just then come to bill, and I'm actually, instead of billing it to an email, I'm going to bill it to my screen as a PDF. And so you see here the load. It was the bill to C.H. Robinson. Our shipper was Mary's Best Eve, and the co-signee on this was Rose Bacon N.S. I don't know who or what this is.
Right.
You'll notice the rating that we built when we received the load. It's now here on the invoice. And then at the bottom it has bill of lading numbers, unit numbers, the driver, any information you want to put there. And then we also have a window or a menu where you can add legal jargon at the bottom. If you want to just put down there, all bills due within 30 days or pay your bills will break your leg. Whatever you want to put on there can be then entered here.
Nice.
And so this is our standard format. If you want us to format to your existing invoice, if you have one, we can do that as well as part of the purchase price. So that the formatting to an invoice is included.
Okay.
So any questions on the invoice?
No.
So I'll just move that over to the other screen, and we'll continue on. You'll notice that it automatically appeared as a read-only. This RO that's been read lets us know that this has been billed, and it's read-only. So if you change anything, it won't change the bill unless you actually come unbill it. So the system will make sure that you're not altering anything that's already been billed.
Okay.
Okay, so at this point, we've billed the customer. Now I'll show you how our system handles the receivables. Let me close out a bunch of stuff I have open here. So once we bill the customer, our invoices show everything that's outstanding that we've billed and not received. And then on the ROAs, to receive a payment, you right-click, select New. You would put the customer's number or their name, and then their check number. It would ask you the amount and what invoices you're applying it to. If there's any balance left, it'll ask you what you want to do with the balance, whether you want to return it to the invoice screen to be because you're waiting for a partial payment, or you can actually just write off a percentage to a chart of accounts, whether it's damaged freight, early payments, or factoring expenses, whatever you want to write off the balance of that invoice to. You can do it all through the ROA screen.
Okay.
So it is a very straightforward billing program, and then once you build the customer, the accounting system in our software, this is a full general ledger accounting software. We can store 1099s for your owner-operators. This will manage your bank accounts, the checks you've written. We format to LaserJet checks for you, so you can print checks directly from the software, or we can also handle direct deposits.
So users, you said up to 5 users, really. Now, all of these tabs you're clicking on, are those all integratable as far as only certain users get to see certain things as far as like the billing and the checks and stuff like that?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Each user can have a different security level, so you can
Okay.
have the different tiers of security on what you want them to see. Like an accountant would only see accounting, a dispatcher would only see dispatching.
Right.
We can actually go deeper than that. Let's say, for instance, you have a husband and wife working for you and they get divorced. She changes her phone number and she doesn't want him to know. You can actually restrict her phone number in the system from him. So he couldn't see just her phone number. If that's how specific you want to be,
Right.
you can, or you can be as general as just certain departments see certain parts of the program.
Okay. As far as all the accounting, is it QuickBooks and integratable at all?
There's no need for QuickBooks, and we can't export information out. QuickBooks really doesn't interface with anybody, but we can export information to QuickBooks if you'd like.
Okay.
But this
Good enough.
usually, for 99% of our customers, this replaces QuickBooks.
Okay.
TruckMaster's accounting program is actually where we started. 20 years ago, the founder and owner of our company wrote a trucking accounting software designed for trucking companies, and that's what we built our software around. And so we started with the money and worked out, where most trucking companies start as a dispatch or a IFTA report program, and then they built from there, or a load board program. We started with the money and worked out. And so as you do receivables, as you pay your drivers, as you do business, if you're printing all your checks directly from the software and you're handling all receivers into the software, the accounting's automatic. It just happens while you're doing business.
Okay.
And it is a full general ledger accounting. It'll handle your balance sheets, your income statements, your trial balance report. It'll even do multi-period or comparative balance sheets and income statements as well. So it is a full general ledger accounting system. So other than accounting, it does come with a brokerage software.
Well, while you're in accounting, what about Canadian exchange? Does it do all of that automatically? Canada, Mexico?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're actually we're in the process of making it bilingual. So if by chance you had the two languages that we're shooting for right now is French Canadian
Yeah.
and Hispanic.
Yeah. Okay.
I hate saying Hispanic because
Right.
Hispania is not a country.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, okay,
I've got
that would
friends
work.
that are from Spain. They're like, those guys don't speak Spanish. So when I'm around them, I have to say that they speak Mexican or they get mad.
Yeah, some people take it offensively.
Well, and I don't know why that most of them are from Mexico.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you say if they say that you and me, you speak American, I'm like, yes, I do.
Exactly.
I do speak American. It's not English. We go over there and they're like, you're an American.
Yep. Well, you're right.
Yeah. So anyway, the accounting program does switch to Canadian dollars, Mexican pesos, and American dollars with just the click of a button.
Okay.
You'll notice in let's go to dispatch really fast.
Yeah, because most of our freight is coming out of Colorado, currently coming out of Colorado and running them in the Alberta area.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm going to say right off the bat, 95% is going to be all from United States into Canada.
Okay, so if we're doing the rating, and the rating that we're doing is in Canadian dollars, all you have to do is come to the currency, and I knew I was going to be talking to you today, so I put Canadian dollars.
Okay.
So all you have to do is go select it. This is being done in Canadian dollars, and you'll notice that it did an automatic exchange rate up here.
Okay.
So it handled the exchange rate for you.
And does it add the GST taxes, the Canadian taxes?
As far as like if you're doing an owner operator in Canada.
Yeah, Inter Canada. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So it keeps up with all of that.
Okay.
So I'm going to actually switch this back. There we go. So it does handle that very easy. Not a difficult process to change currencies. We can actually do Indian rupees, rubles, whatever you want to do as far as management. So we've created freight, we've dispatched freight, we've billed the customer. Now let's roll down to handling the driver for the movement. So we'll go to settlements. Now in the settlements menu, we have where we pay leasers. And so we can pay your owner-operators right from here. We'll just transfer the settlements from payroll. We would have all of their settlements available here. So this is all the loads that have been delivered. And I'm going to try to find, I believe Batman's an owner-operator, if I remember right.
Yeah, it says owner operator.
Yep, it does. I'm going to open up Batman here. And you'll see that his settlement comes in different than you would see an owned truck, an asset truck. So it just has what his percentage is going to be, what you pay him